Hello everyone, Spiderweb Reviews is here with a TV episode review. The TV season that I have started is 12 Monkeys on Sci-Fi, and the first episode is called Splinter. It's also known as the pilot episode. So, with that being said, before I hop into the review or the story of this episode, I do want to point out that this show is based on the movie that was filmed in 1995. I highly recommend you watch that movie before you start watching the show. Everything will make a lot more sense to you once you kind of get an idea of what the story is about from like a big picture standpoint. So with that being said, we'll hop into the story of this in particular episode. James Cole travels back in time to 2013, where he meets up with a woman known as Dr. Rayleigh. At the time, he's looking for a man named Leland Frost. She claims that she doesn't know who he is at that time. So then in 2015, he returns again and meets up with Dr. Rayleigh for a second time, and the two end up working together to find out who this Leland Frost guy is. They eventually figure it out, and they set up a plan to actually go and see him. So that's pretty much the main idea of this episode. Um, to hop into my review, I gave this episode a score of 7.5 legs out of 8. I think it takes everything that the movie does or has done and makes it um, extremely current, but it also elaborates on the story a lot more. So, obviously, in the movie, it's only 2 hours. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it gets pretty complex pretty quickly. So, based on this first episode, I love that they're taking steps to explain things a lot better, get into way more detail. It sounds like there's a lot of additional scenes that they're going to shoot that had nothing to do with the movie. So, like, I'm extremely intrigued by this first episode. So, if you were a fan of the movie, if you watched the movie, I think you'll definitely like the show, especially the first episode. I think it was done extremely well. Um, so for my score for 7.5 legs, I only deducted half a leg for the character development. They focus a lot on Dr. Rayleigh, whose name is Cassandra in this movie instead of Catherine, or sorry, in this episode, in this TV show, her name is Cassandra Rayleigh, not Catherine Rayleigh, which is what her name was in the movie. And then you have Cole again, who's got the same name. The episode really focused just on those two. There were some other characters that came and went, and you saw them for a few scenes, and then they were gone. And then obviously the person they were looking for gets um, introduced as well in this movie. But aside from that, there's really not a lot of character development. They just really focused heavily on those two, and I think um, obviously the complexity of the story. There's going to be a lot more characters involved. A lot of them still need to be introduced, but for a few of them that were there, they just kind of came and went without any really good development. So, with that being said, everything else I thought was done phenomenally well. So, I highly recommend so far the first episode. We'll have to see how the rest of the season goes, but this is definitely holds true to what the movie explained, and this show looks like it's going to be a big hit based on my initial impressions. So, with that being said, thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more episode reviews as well as other reviews as well. Thank you.